Welcome back to your Sunday NFL recap with the Barreto boys. We are here. It's the beginning of your week and the best part of your week. I am Dylan Barreto, Podcast Poppy. I am with Big Brother Steven Barreto, the Sand Viper. Hello.
What's going on, guys?
We are here to recap this slate of NFL games of 11-12-2023. Starting off with this dog shit Sunday Night Football game, Jets-Raiders. Raiders 16, Jets 12. This is exactly the type of game I thought was going to fucking happen. I texted the podcast chat before the game started because Anthony was like, "Oh, this is going to be a real good game. This is going to be a sneaky good game." I'm like, "No, it's not. We're going to punt fucking 30 times, and neither offense is going to fucking score." I was like, "We're going to be looking at 15-12." I was off by a point. 15-12.
When y'all are playing the Chargers, your defense has to score because your offense can't score touchdowns. You're scoring freaking 3 touchdowns in the last 5 games.
2 of them were in one game.
Your last 5 games, you've had 3 touchdowns. Let's take a look at it. We've had what? Breece Hall 72-yard run, a Breece Hall 50-yard screen, and a Breece Hall 8-yard run that Philly let you score.
This Jets offensive line, or this Jets offense as a whole, does nothing but shoot themselves in the fucking foot. And it's so infuriating when you see that this team had 8 penalties for 83 yards, which is just absolutely infuriating, especially when you see like the first half was Zach's really not playing bad. Like, we got a good Zach Wilson game going. Let's just keep it going. And once you came back from halftime, it just went to shit.
It's like every time you make a good play, like a 15-yard play, as soon as you get across the 50, you guys do something stupid. It's always some type of penalty, and you never recover. You never recover from the penalty.
We scored a touchdown twice on one drive. Turns out we didn't score a touchdown at all.
And all penalties are legit.
They're all legitimate penalties, and it's just like, well,
you shoot yourselves in the foot
every time. And then for everybody who's calling for like the belt benching of Zach Wilson, it's like you can't bench the kid when it's like, 83 yards and penalties. You lose your every great play that happens. Then he's got to throw the interception at the end of the game. It's just like, well,
somebody fumbles. The Jets, Saleh and defense coordinator, they got to challenge the defense when they force a turnover. You guys got to say, we have to score the ball. We have to score. You got to get a pick 6. You got to get scoopski potatoes and take it to the end zone. Scooping scores. You have to score a touchdown on defense. You have to score 1 touchdown on defense each game for y'all to win. Because at this point, the offense cannot get it done.
It's just infuriating. Every aspect of the Jets offense is infuriating because Nathaniel Hackett's run play calls are just dog shit. He just does not know how to call a run game. His second down plays are the absolute worst. So it ends up either being 3 runs in a row, a run, maybe we'll pass on first down. Who knows? We didn't get good play calling until like the second to last drive where Zach threw that interception. And Allen Lazard is just useless. He's just a useless wide receiver. He does nothing right. He leads the league in drop percentage. And then on that drive, where he got that first down, he tried to drop that ball.
Yeah.
He tried to drop that ball, and I was like, I swear to God, this dude's going to give me a fucking stroke. And then on the pass attempt by Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard just casually jogging up the field. Granted, that wasn't a good pass to begin with, but if Lazard was like, sprinting down the line, that's 6.
And on the Hail Mary, Garrett Wilson would have caught it if Conklin didn't swat it. What is Conklin doing?
No idea, man.
At least Conklin put it out to bat it away like he was a defender. What are you doing?
So ridiculous. Where Conk had a great catch on that drive where he had to jump up and get it, and then just for that to happen. Also, Zach, what the fuck are you doing throwing no-look passes? Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, we know Zach Wilson sucks, but it's not just him. Everybody on the offense is sucking the dick outside of Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson.
And,
It,
and to an extent, but it's like this is like your fourth. This is actually like our ninth offensive line group. They can't figure it out. CJ Uzama just is useless. I don't know why he's playing when you have a young kid in Jeremy Rucker.
he kept doing dumb
Rucker
penalties.
is a good run blocker. Let him play. Dalvin Cook had 4 rushes for 6.5 yards to average. Like, use him a little more. Like, Brees couldn't get it going because every time they saw Brees in the backfield, they knew it was a run. That's where it's like we tip our play calling, where Brees in there, it's a run play. Third down, it's a pass always because Michael Carter's in. Why is Michael Carter our third down running back?
Yeah, Dalvin Cook had like his best game. Oh, in his 4 carries he got.
Yeah, and his production wise, he was good. He was good. It's just that sequence where he got that big gain, then he got another like 8 yards, and then you ran the ball again. Like, why is second down play calling so bad, Hackett? So
And
bad.
tip my hat to Antonio Pierce rejuvenating the Raiders, getting them back to as soon as they get rid of Josh McDaniels, boom, we're immediately changing the culture. We go NWA. I'm from Compton. I was a Raiders fan when they were in LA. I grew up a Raiders fan. We hard nosed, we thugging it out. Let's go. Changing it around and then getting players, making players believe is what you can ask for from a coach. Get this, hey, going to Spillane, telling everybody, Spillane, I want to build my defense around you. And he makes one of the biggest plays in the game. They ultimately win the game for the Raiders. And Max Crosby, right now is front runner for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's balled out.
Percent of the time. It's not just he's got the most pressures. He got like 9.5, 10 sacks, but he's got a lot of tackles.
A lot of TFLs.
Just a lot of tackles in general.
This game is so infuriating because Aiden O'Connell sucks.
Yeah.
Like, he is so bad. But yet, here we go. Like that Michael Mayer touchdown, that's just what that is, man. That's just what that is. You don't get there if you don't stop Josh Jacobs on that big run. Where up to that point, Josh Jacobs was held in check. The Jets defense, like I said this last week, when the Jets prepare for the run, their run defense ranking isn't actually who they are. Right? Every time they get beat on the run, it's usually by somebody who they're not really expecting to. Where you go back to, the Chiefs beat us when they ran the ball down our fucking throat. The Broncos played really well when Russell was able to run and their running back was able to get those passes that were considered runs because they were thrown behind the line of scrimmage or they were backwards passes that were able to get off. When you prepare for the run, you do a good job. And up until that point, it was a good job. It's just the defense is out there so many times in the second half because you just keep going 3 and out because you keep getting these stupid fucking penalties. We couldn't get past our own 25 for the whole third quarter, and then 6 minutes into the second quarter. The fourth quarter. It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal when you keep fucking Devontae Adams relatively in check outside like the big catch that he had. You keep all these wide receivers in check. You abuse the offense as much as you did. You got your turnovers. You did everything you're supposed to do, but it's good defense versus bad offense, and then it's bad defense versus even fucking worse offense. It's absolutely infuriating.
I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Raiders so far in these 2 games. Now they can keep it up because this is a trial period for Antonio Pierce. But even if they miss the playoffs by like a game or 2, I'd still have him. I would bring him as the head coach and let him
hire his staff.
Let him hire his staff. Give him a chance. He's doing good. He's 2-0. Way better than McDaniels was, and no, everybody's not upset. They're having fun.
Kudos to them. They quickly changed that culture around. This team still isn't like good.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
It's not good, but it's they're playing better on defense now. It's their offenses suck in the dick. But they should have never moved on from Rich Bisaccia 2 years ago when he took all that shit. When they were going through all that shit, they fired Gruden and he took them to the playoffs. I'm like, you hired McDaniels and you got worse. It was like you were a 10-win team.
The only tough part is outside of like this Jets team, they play a murderer's row of offenses.
Twice, though.
They still have to play the Dolphins next week, the Chiefs, Vikings in the Pastronaut, Herbert,
The
Chiefs again.
The Chargers game is yeah, but they play the Broncos, the Colts, and the Chargers is either or. They can win that Chargers game.
I think so, but who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
With that coaching staff, when that coaching staff has to make decisions, it's usually the wrong decision.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go Panthers Bears. This game also sucked. Turns out Tyson Bagent just isn't good at football, but hey, here they are winning games with Tyson Bagent.
Everybody's saying it. How the Panthers are trying to run their offense, they don't have the personnel. So now I always have this thing when it comes to rookie quarterbacks. I always think, especially when they're on a sorry team, they should at least sit out a year. Because when they're on a sorry team, they're gonna get. It's not the team had the first pick for a reason, even though they traded up to get that. They were a bad team regardless. And you're only gonna you could have let Andy Dalton start the year, and then midway through the season you bring Bryce Young in, and when he looks good when he looks good, but then he's not used to running around for his life. Can't run for his life.
No, this game was terrible.
CJ Stroud, if he played on this team, this offensive line, they can't block. He would be running for his life too.
Yeah, no, there's not really much. This was the best case scenario for the the Bears here would have been a tie. Draft wise, it would have been a tie.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway. They still got the first pick as of right now because the Panthers have the worst record in the NFL, which belongs to the Bears.
Colts Patriots. What a wonderful morning this was.
We might have seen the end of Mac Jones as a starter, and might have seen the end of Bill Belichick as the coach of the Patriots. He's not coming back to the Patriots next season. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not coming back next year, but he might have saved his job for the rest of the year by benching Mac Jones on the last drive of the game. Because there was no other reason to do that than besides fuck this kid. I've always hated him. Let me move on.
So on the pregame show, Robert Kraft was being interviewed by Rich Eisen. He was telling Rich he really, really wanted to win this game. He wanted to win this game bad. And you could see how the effect it had on Belichick in the game. He was coaching this game like his job was on the line. I mean, the Colts was their first series of the game. They were 3-and-out, and they went to punt the ball. The entire punt return team, all 11, went to block. They had no freaking returner back there. I'm like, this dude is playing like his job is on the line. He sent all 11 to block that punt, and the punt ended up being an 80-yard punt. The ball bounces, wherever it bounces, 20 yards on the field. I'm like, oh, wow, that was a net.
And yet, all of his players were playing like they didn't want him to come back.
Mac Jones played like he wanted Bill out of there. The special teams and the kicker played like they wanted Bill out of there. The two bright spots of the game was for the Patriots was Zeke and Ramondre.
It's almost like we've been saying for weeks at this point that Ramondre Stevenson is the best player on this team.
Ramondre and Zeke. You're just gonna have to get. You don't have receivers. Mac Jones does suck, yes, but I want Mac Jones to throw. Your receivers can't do nothing. There's nobody outside of your two running backs that scares the shit out of me. I'm not scared of them. What are they gonna do? Noodle Arm can't throw the ball long.
He cannot.
You have to give Zeke and Ramondre the ball. Yeah, you got to give them the ball more. Now, your defense can't. Your defense played well enough for you to win this game. All it came down is because Gardner Minshew was okay. You basically held Taylor in check. He had to go fourth down on the goal line to get that touchdown. And another thing for the Colts, I know we say give Jonathan Taylor the ball too, but they only gave like Zach Moss one touch.
You got to split the carries out. You have to figure out a way to divide the carries because Zach Moss has been so good all year. Like, you can't just fade him out completely.
Jonathan Taylor did have like 20 carries, but he was basically held in check. Like it was like 69 yards.
Bill O'Brien has no business yelling at anybody on the sidelines the way he was yelling at Mac Jones today. Because Bill O'Brien is part of the problem here.
Yeah.
I don't understand how a Matt Patricia-led offense was a better offense than a Bill O'Brien-led offense. Because one of those guys is an offensive play caller, and one of those guys is not.
And like, they got to the red zone, they were going for it. Like, and then Matt, the kicker, missing that easy field goal. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, this might be it. Because the emotions of Bill Belichick on the sideline, like he was coaching, like, oh my god, I'm not going to be on this flight back to this team. I've never seen him like that. Like the emotions, like, oh,
Yep.
pulling his hat, his beanie down, like.
Bailey Zappi on that interception. One, the absolute nerve to run a fake spike, and two, the balls to throw a fake spike pass when you only have two receivers going in routes with four guys back there.
That's a coaching thing. The coach called that play, but what?
No, coach called that play, but you don't have to throw that ball.
You could have just spiked it.
They could have actually spiked it. They could have thrown it out. There was other options to do it. You didn't have to force that ball.
They had plenty of time. There was still like a minute left.
Yeah, you don't have to go through and force that ball into three defenders. Like, that's just stupid. Like, I get Mac Jones isn't good. Bailey Zappi's not much better. So it's just like...
He's also freaking... if you're going to make the switch, you can't make the switch then. He literally came in with like 2 minutes left. I'm like, he's not even warmed up.
Nothing. You just let him go out there and just sling. It's like, oh, well, all right.
Anyway, but like, what the hell?
Even Bailey Zappi afterwards, he's just like, I can't really say what I want to say.
Yeah.
So, Bill, good riddance to all the Patriot fans that are acting like the spoiled brats that they are, that they're like, what did I do to deserve this? Eat a dick. Nobody cares.
Reality. This was coming.
We've been waiting for this for years.
All the Patriots fans are like, we don't know. We can't get rid of Belichick. Yes, he's been bad. What has he done?
Terrible.
He's not a good drafter. And he when he has money, he buys bums. You can't be cheap no more. You're gonna have to spend money.
Tom Brady asked for help, and he was like, LOL, here's Mohamed Sanu.
And guess what happened? Brady left. Robert Kraft not like that Brady left. He did not want Brady to leave.
Nope. Bill's ego is crazy. Bill is one of the greatest head coaches of all time, but the last 5 years has been all ego out of that man. And it's you could tell with how the organization looks at him, Kraft, everybody from Kraft underneath, how the players on the sidelines are dealing with him, and how his own coaching staff looks at him.
You want to know when his ego took over? What was that? Was it the Chiefs Super Bowl? Which one was the 100th anniversary? And they were all coming out. Everybody was they had all the 100 best players. Blah blah blah. Bill Belichick came out and went like this. Was holding up 6 rings. That's when his ego started to take over.
Yep.
He's drafted 2 Pro Bowlers in the last 10 years as a punter and a punt returner. The one year he spent money was what?
Stephon Gilmore.
A couple years ago when
When he brought in both tight ends, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith.
he signed Al Aguilar and all them bums. Like, if you want to keep him for a head coach, fine, but get a GM. I don't think Bill's going to go for that because Bill's been choosing who he wants to for over 20 years.
Patriot Way don't exist.
Don't exist.
And if it did, it's dead.
He's like 17. He's only coaching to break that record. There's no reason for him to coach. We would recognize him as the best coach regardless. Don Shula only has 2 fucking rings and he coached for like 40 years. So, of course, he's going to have the most wins of all fucking time. But no one considers Don Shula the best coach of all time. He coached against Chuck Noll, 4 rings. So against Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh has like 4 rings.
It could bring. I would buy a vial of Bill Belichick's tears. And if Patriot fans wanted to cry into a mason jar, I'd buy that too. I would buy that too. Ravens Browns. This was a great game. Deshaun turned it up in the second half. Lamar was playing really well until he started like doing some silly things. J.K. Dobbins probably not going to have a job to come back to when he's back from his Achilles.
AFC North hard-hitting football. And
all of these teams are just winning football games.
They win the game. Deshaun Watson was spectacular in the second half. Completely perfect in the second half, 14-14. And that's what...
After opening up with one of the worst plays I could have imagined as a quarterback. Kyle Hamilton...
I don't blame tips on that. Come on.
No, but that was just awesome. That was awesome. I say it's worse because you don't want to see that.
Hamilton made a play, but I don't blame. Like the same thing with Lamar's interception. They got tipped at the line of scrimmage and they took it back for a touchdown. I don't blame quarterbacks for those interceptions. There's nothing you can do about that. Guys make plays. It's a tip.
That Kyle Hamilton play was awesome.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you see a situation where you get the blitzer, he blocks the pass, but also catches it and walks it in for the touchdown. Like that, it doesn't get much better than that.
Because that guy, that Wheaton, the Raiders, he averages like 40 yards every time he gets the ball. It's like, yeah, and they're not using him that much, so he probably doesn't know the offense that well. But Monken's offense is way better than freaking Greg Roman. Because they asked Lamar, it's like, what's so good about this offense that from years past is like they give the running backs the ball. He's like, I don't want to run with the ball no more.
Yeah.
Ball. I've been injured the past 2 years. I haven't finished the season.
It makes all the sense in the world where you actually get a chance to use your running backs.
The AFC after this fucking game, the Browns have something to say. If Deshaun Watson could do this, because Deshaun Watson played like Deshaun Watson, that's what they got a fully guaranteed contract for. That second half was.
He's too inconsistent, though. He does this too much where it's like you get more of that, like, oh, my God, why do we have this Deshaun Watson? And then you have the, oh, my God, this is why we have this Deshaun Watson. It's not consistent enough.
You need it for the big games.
It'd be better if you get it all the time. But I still think the Ravens are the best team in football. But if the Browns can figure this guy out, they have a big, like,
They also need like another fucking receiver.
Yeah, because Amari Cooper and nobody. Like Njoku's fine, but like Elijah Moore stinks. But all these other guys are also not helping at all.
To not show up in road games.
That defense also is just legit.
Yeah, and the Ravens defense probably Humphrey tore his Achilles, so
Yep.
That's gonna be rough for them. Ravens, defense always get hurt.
Oh, what was it 2 years ago where like that whole secondary tore an ACL or Achilles? Like Humphrey was one of the guys who tore his ACL, correct?
Yeah, he was
and
in
he
there.
Just came back.
Well, he was back last year, but this is like his second year back from the ACL. He was playing really good. He's playing like a top freaking 6 corner. Then he tore his Achilles.
You hate to see it. Who else tore their Achilles today?
A lot of Achilles injuries are making a comeback this year. What the hell is going on?
I'd like to say I set the tone. I tore mine before the NFL season started. So I'm the trendsetter here.
Usually like ACLs. No, Achilles taking over.
Who else tore their Achilles? Hold on, let me Google hit Twitter. Oh no, stop it. Nope, that's TikTok, not Twitter. Let me just type in Achilles.
Like the Ravens aren't. That was a big loss, and plus a big loss from the Ravens. And Thursday night, the Ravens play Bengals, so that was a bad division loss too.
Quan Alexander, perfect timing because we're talking about the Steelers. Steelers, Packers. Steelers 23, Packers 19. Quan Alexander tears his Achilles, former Jet. So another Jet out with another Achilles. This is what happens.
Big. I believe the Steelers offense putrid again. They get outgained again, but they win. And this time, like the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur has to go. Like, it's not only him, these receivers and Aaron Jones dropped so many passes today. Aaron Jones dropped like 3 passes. Christian Watson, does he know how to catch the ball?
No.
This is what Aaron Rodgers was dealing with last year. And now you have a new quarterback coming in dealing with it and is making it like the drops, the penalties. Like the drops were really bad today.
We knew that with Watson coming out of the draft when he did, because I liked Watson as like a late rounder where it's like, hey, this dude's real raw, but he's fast as fuck. He can't really run a route or catch yet, but if you could get him in the right team where he kind of just sit back for a while and just kind of figure it out, he's going to be good. The problem is you put him with Aaron Rodgers, who hates young guys when they're not like good.
Too like Dobbs is the actual receiver they have, but he'll drop one every now and then. But there's like guys get open and there's just drops. Reed as drops. It's like I don't know how many times I texted in the chat where in like another drop. I'm like, this is like Aaron Jones. And the thing about Aaron Jones's drops, they were like screens. One of them was a screen. He had the whole offensive line in front of him. He dropped the ball. It was probably a touchdown or at least 40 yards. And he had like 4 offensive linemen in front of him. The Steelers were so bad. Shout out Patrick Peterson, who in this game blocked the extra point, which was the difference in the game. So instead of the Packers having to go for a field goal, they had to go for a touchdown. And Jordan Love throws a pick. Patrick Peterson also he was covering Christian Watson and basically a freaking alley-oop. He just punched the ball to his teammate for a pick in the end zone. Patrick Peterson balled this game.
Old man Pat Pete.
The Steelers offense.
They suck, but they got the run game going.
The run game was good.
Warren's a baller.
Jalen Warren he still needs to out-touch Najee. Najee had like one more touch than him.
One more touch than him, yep. But that's a good split.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good split. You're not going to get that Najee Harris game all the time, but that's a very good split if that's what's going to be going or what's going to be doing.
I don't know if he hates his receivers or if he hates Matt Canada. Like, he throws the ball out of bounds. It's like they're like 20 feet in the air over the receiver's head. It's like, I don't know what they're doing. Well, shout out the Steelers. Technically, whatever happens in that Ravens-Bengals game, the Steelers are the only team undefeated in the division, the AFC North. They still have to play the rest of the NFC West, too. So they took one game against the Packers. We'll see what's going to happen there. I did pick the Steelers to go to the playoffs.
They still could be there. That whole division could literally just walk right into the playoffs.
Well, going into today, before any games, the playoff standings was the whole AFC North was in.
Yep.
That's probably changed. But
I don't think so because
the Bengals took an L.
The Bengals took an L. Yep, they're 5-4. something along those lines.
Houston has entered the wild card mix.
We'll get there. We'll get there. San Fran 34, Jacksonville 3. That San Francisco defense, when they have a second edge rusher, is horrifying. Because before they went and got Chase Young, the defensive end that they had playing, I don't remember his name. I'm not going to look it up, but he would be getting blocked one-on-one with tight ends. And he would lose to the tight end.
They weren't getting a pass rush the last 3 games.
It would just be Nick Bosa doing the thing he does at elite level, which is apply pressure. He wasn't really getting a lot of sacks because, he was getting blocked and nobody else was doing anything. Now that you have Chasey on the other side and they know how to play with each other and they already know each other because they were teammates, albeit for a small amount of time. They were teammates, and they were both elite at Ohio State. They're both really good in the NFL. Chase Young just Chase Young just had a shitty franchise take him and just make him hate football.
Injured for that franchise too. He
yes,
didn't really play that much.
But when he played, he was fantastic.
Fantastic.
Now that you got 2 of these fuckers, even if you don't keep Chase Young just is going to earn himself a contract.
He basically made that move for this year. Because they're not going to re-sign him. They can't. There's no way they can. But they just made that for this year. They want to make the Super Bowl. That's all it is for this year. You can take that 1 year. If you get the championship at the end of the year, it was a good move.
Yep. And then you were getting interior pressure. So you were getting so much. You were getting so much exterior pressure. You were getting the interior guys moving. That's how good and why those guys matter. That's why one of the 4 most important positions of football is the defensive end.
But San Francisco wants to rush forward. They don't want to blitz because they already know they got shaky coverage. They want to help out their corners. The corners for San Francisco are the weak. The corners and the safeties are the weak link of this team. Their safeties really can't cover neither. I like what's his face, Palomalu Jr., Hafunga, but he can't cover.
Nope, he's a blitz boy.
He's a blitz boy. So Fred Warner back there help. Warner and Greenlaw helping them is better. You don't want to waste them on blitzers, especially these quarterbacks that are good against the blitz against your sorry corners, and you get tore up.
You would think that the Jags would have been that team today where they could kind of pick on them a little bit, but
Doug Peterson, I don't know what the fuck he was doing
because Trevor had a bad game.
Yeah.
Trevor had a very bad game.
Bad game. Well, San Francisco's defense makes quarterbacks look bad, especially when he can't get no fucking protection. But you got to get Travis Etienne.
9:35.
When they could have made it a game, Christian Kirk had a terrible fumble at like the fucking 5-yard line.
It's unbelievable. McCaffrey's first game all year, not having a touchdown when he's played,
and they tried to give him the record. When the backups were in and they put him in there when they're in the red zone, they tried it. That happens.
George Kittle screaming on the sideline, "Get him in!"
San Francisco, see what the road is. That was a tough game for them. They had to win. I don't know. They still got to play Philly. They still got to play the rest of the AFC North. They still got to play Baltimore. They still got to play.
Cleveland. No, they lost to Cleveland. They beat Pittsburgh. They lost to Cincinnati. Yeah, they only got to play Baltimore.
They got to play Baltimore. Still got to play Seattle twice.
We'll see. Vikings 27, Saints 19. Derek Carr goes out with a concussion and a shoulder injury. Famous Jameis Winston goes in, throws 2 really impressive touchdowns. As the group chat started to yell at me because I refused to acknowledge Jameis Winston because I know what Jameis Winston is. He's a human roller coaster. His peaks are incredible, but that drop is a drop.
The OG Jameis Winston. I said last week, Sam Howell's the new Jameis Winston. The OG got to come out today. But I will say the Saints offense moves better with Jameis Winston. Derek Carr just wants to throw checkdowns. The fact that he only targeted Chris Olave 1 fucking time in the game before he got injured, and as soon as Jameis comes in, 7 targets. You got to get Get your players the ball.
He moves the ball down the field, and that's the thing with Mike, where Mike was like, you would love to have Jameis Winston on your team. I'm like, I would not love to have Jameis Winston on my team because I know what he is. And I am already an aggressive fan, and I hate most things. Do not put me in a situation where Jameis giveth and Jameis taketh away. Because that's what he did today. That's what he does all the time.
That's what he did because he's on that roller coaster. Like he is, like he'd throw a dime to fucking Chris Olave.
I just don't like that I was forced to have to, like, when he threw a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, I had to acknowledge Jameis Winston, which I didn't.
That second touchdown is a throw you're supposed to throw.
And he got lucky because he mossed him.
So simultaneous catch goes to the offense.
There's a reason he's wide open.
Because he'll do that, and then his next 2 interceptions are like, what was that?
And that's exactly what they were.
It's NFC South. I said it earlier in the year, even though I picked the Panthers to win. I also said the winner of the NFC South is going to have a losing record. We're starting to get there. The Saints, I thought the Vikings would hit the stretch like the Pastronaut.
I love that nickname.
He's looking good with weapons. Even though most of his weapons are out, he got Hawkinson and Addison.
I mean, and he runs, man.
Jordan Addison. Not Addison. Well, there's too many Addisons in the freaking...
yes. But the thing that changes the dynamic of this offense is he runs.
He caught also move.
And he's not scared to move. And they bring a completely dynamic to this offense that Kirk can't. And say what you want about Dobbs. The real know who Josh Dobbs is. We all know about him from Tennessee and backing up Big Ben forever. He just was never really given an opportunity to play. So he was just out of the NFL because nobody knew he could fucking play football.
Well, then when he had his chance to play, he was playing for, like, last year. He was on 5 teams in 2 years. Last year, he started that game with Tennessee.
And he played well.
He had to start Tennessee against Dallas's defense.
And he played well. That's the thing. He played well. And then that game against Jacksonville, he also played well.
Now you're going to get JJ back soon.
And I'm sure Justin Jefferson is going to love to play with this dude.
And they're on a hot streak right now, 5 in a row. They could make it like 2 more in a row the rest of their schedule right now. They're in the – remember I said they're in a stretch where they can win some games, possibly make the playoffs again.
Mm-hmm.
The last NFC playoff spot is the biggest question mark in the NFC. Because I'm telling you, you put Philly in, you put Dallas in, you put San Fran, Seattle in, and Detroit. That's 5. I'm putting those 5 in. Those 5 are not dropping out. You have the NFC South winner. That's 6.
Yeah, one more.
Somebody has to get in from that division. Who's the 7th seed? Minnesota's stepping up right now. That's probably what we're locked in. Those 7 seeds. Whoever the NFC South winner is,
we'll see.
Minnesota. Because Minnesota has something to say. They play the rest of the NFC South. Aren't they 2-1 against the NFC South? They only got the Panthers. Oh no, they're 3-1. They already beat the NFC South.
Texans 30, Bengals 27. This game was awesome.
This game was
unbelievable.
CJ Stroud, not only in the rookie of the year runaway right now, you got to put him in the MVP discussion.
You absolutely have to.
Because with his stats, he only got 2 turnovers.
What he's doing right now with a team that nobody thought, like Mike in the chat said it earlier, and I will credit him this. He's like, the Texans are 2 years ahead of schedule.
Yes.
The Texans are absolutely 2 years ahead of schedule. The way they move the football, Stroud is unbelievable. Stroud is not just the best rookie quarterback in football. He is a top 10 quarterback in football right now.
And plus, without their top receiver, Nico Collins didn't even play. So they got Tank Dell. That connection is another rookie. Dalton Schultz. Freaking Noah Brown is always wide open. It's like
for some reason.
2 weeks, this dude has got like 400 yards receiving. He's wide open.
This team is a real like number one wide receiver away from being like a perennial like division winner.
I think you know what I think, right? I think the receivers are fine. Nico Collins is fine. I think what they're really missing is a running back. They're like a Christian McCaffrey away. Like what happens at the end of this year? San Francisco brings back Christian, or they let him go, or they can go and they get Derrick Henry to come in here next year. The defense has some guys on it. Shaq Griffin,
or Josh Jacobs or Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
those are two guys, and they got the cap.
They got the cap.
They have the money to do it.
I can't I can't see Saquon. Saquon really wants to stay on that fucking team.
I don't think so. He's over here getting yelled at or yelling at Dable on the sidelines now.
There's no way
that Giants team is cooked. He's not going to go through another little rebuild here. You can't do that. He's been there. This could be his third quarterback. Third starting quarterback he's been going through.
Yeah.
If the Giants draft another QB.
It's in the freaking defense.
Their defense is sneaky. I think they're a T. Higgins.
Will Anderson, yeah. That's where Will Anderson gets in his prime. We're not even there yet.
If they were to close in on a Saquon or a Josh Jacobs, and then they go and get a T. Higgins, one of these big wide receivers, you get yourself a real playmaker to go with these other guys who just are eating off of CJ Stroud's ability. Because that's what this group really seems like they are. They're just kind of eating off of CJ Stroud's ability. If you got a guy who could just do it himself, or put them in the race for Devontae Adams next year.
Yeah, they can get. You got a rookie quarterback. You got four more years until you have to pay him.
Mm-hmm. And even that fifth-year option is really only going to be like 25 and a half, 20 to 28.
Schedule if you get the last playoff spot right now, Houston's a city. You can get guys to come there.
Mm-hmm. The culture of that place has changed, man. It's amazing what happens when you get all the Patriot guys out.
That place only works in one place, and it's not even working there right now.
It actually doesn't work in one place. It works when you have one player.
It only works with one guy. Tom Brady wants that culture.
So we're seeing it with Vegas. We're seeing it with Houston. When the Giants got rid of all their people, they had their playoff run, but they're still paying for everything those fucking Patriot people did beforehand. That shit doesn't work. Shitting on the Patriots one-on-one. We do this for 45 minutes a week on Sundays for sure. Bucks, Titans. Shout out to that Buccaneers defense. They
made Derrick Henry look old today,
and the Titans just don't use him.
Yeah,
the Titans are going to fire everybody. I know we say this every week, but Mike Vrabel is fired at the end of this year. If and when they make the playoffs. Mike said before this, he goes, I think I have to concede that the Titans are now the third team in this division.
Fourth.
And Anthony says, oh, you might be the fourth.
They're the fourth team. They're not the third team. They're not even close.
This Titans team is so devoid of talent on the offensive side of the ball.
Everywhere on the ball. Your quarterback, I'm not like the quarterback, he's okay. Give him something, but outside of DeAndre Hopkins, Will Levis, I don't know what you guys do good. Derrick Henry's not doing anything. You're not giving him an opportunity to do anything when he gets shut down today. If he gets stopped, you shut him down regardless.
I'm a big Treylon Burks stinks guy. Treylon Burks hasn't played. He's been hurt.
He's hurt.
Anthony said he's like, oh, the Titans need to find a number one wide receiver because the Burks project isn't working. I was like, well, they have a number one receiver. It's Hopkins.
He only targeted 3 times today.
They just don't have a wide receiver 2, 3, or 4 on their team because Treylon Burks does not have good hands. He's not a good route runner. He's just a big Deebo Samuel. That's how you're supposed to use him. That's how Arkansas used him. And when the Titans use him that way, it works. He drops balls. He doesn't run routes well. You need to figure it out. Again, I don't think Will Levis is very good, He's played well in the time that he's gotten here. 19 for 39 for 199 and an interception is not great, but he's better than what you have, and he's got talent. Mike was seeing it with the blue tinted glasses. He was like, I don't know if I'm just seeing this with the glasses on, but when Will Levis throws the ball, I was like, you're just not used to seeing zip on a ball because he's got a rifle on him.
He's the best quarterback they have on their fucking team. But
yeah, they've got nothing else.
DeAndre Hopkins, offense coordinator, can't have 3 targets.
Nope, and this Titans defense also is just
gives
up so many yards.
The Bucs need to come out on offense. Here's what we do well. Nobody else. You need to game plan your offense. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White.
Rachaad White's been coming on this last couple games.
Rachaad White's having a spectacular season, yards from scrimmage wise. He's doing his thing. Like Mike Evans is going to get 1,000 yards again.
Shocker.
Taxes 1,000 yards. I told people all the time, like, look, this dude he only had Brady for 3 years. He was still getting 1,000 yards before that. It's his 10th season. He's going to get it. It's not like he fell off.
He's a great receiver. He is a perennial like top 10 receiver.
He carried 2 guys into the end zone for 5 more yards.
A perennial top 10 receiver.
Baker struggles in this offense when he's not going like their third wide receiver trying to get him involved. Stop it. You give them a chance and they're failing. No more. You want to win games. Godwin, Evans, White. That's your 3-headed monster. Anybody else Baker goes to is going to start looking bad. Is going to make bad decisions.
Tabo sucks, but that's just the Jet hating me. Mike said a statement about Sauce Gardner in our chat today. He was like, because Anthony was mad that Sauce Gardner said he could shut down Devontae Adams. He was 2-0 on him when he was covering him. He was like, I didn't like to do that. I was like, what? Sauce Gardner's just doing what all the other DBs do. This is talking. And then Mike goes, oh, what do you mean hold? I was like, I don't know. Maybe you should tell the Titans corners to fucking hold. Like clearly Sauce is one of the 5 best corners in football. You could argue the top 3.
Don't say hold. Don't say hold if it's not holding if it's not called.
Thank you.
Holding nothing.
I was like, you can say all you want. Sauce Gardner's arguably the best corner in football. Maybe the Titans corner should maybe they should take notes. Maybe they should watch film on Sauce Gardner. Lions Chargers was a shootout. An absolute shootout. And I had to play against Keenan Allen. So I went into the 4:00 slate looking like, oh, I'm going to do pretty well. I'll do all right. Keenan Allen will do the thing. Nope, I got fucked by Keenan Allen.
We had the reversal of jobs. So the goal line, Gibbs was getting the carries of the goal line, and David Montgomery was having 70-yard runs. They did a good job of using both the running backs in the game today. That's what they're supposed to do. But of course, it's the Chargers defense. It's nothing the fucking they're all about. It's like my question going forward is if they really got all the stupidity done out of their system. This is why I don't trust them. It's Jared Goff. He's going to look good against his defense. It's like what happens when he plays better defenses. I want to see. They only got one tough team left on their schedule. They're going to play the Vikings. I think they still have to play the Vikings twice.
Yeah, but that defense stinks.
Yeah, but they play Dallas. Dallas is like
the best defense they play is you guys. If they could put up points against you guys, I'll be impressed because last time they played a good defense, they got shit on.
If they keep this win streak, if Philly's in the tough stretch, if they lose any of those games, like their next 3 or 4 games,
yep,
and the Lions sitting pretty, the Lions could sneak and get the number 1 seed.
Yep. But this game was an absolute fucking shootout. I love when the Lions get to play like bad defenses So they just get to feast and just play well. It reminded me of that. I think it was that Thursday night football game, Mahomes, Jared Goff, like 5 years ago.
No, that was Monday night
A
game.
Monday night. Yeah, I remember being a night game where it was just like,
No, it was supposed to be in Mexico. The field was fucked up. They moved it to L.A.
yeah, it was just a fucking just shootout. It was one of the best games I ever watched.
We're throwing some dimes on here. It's like, oh, that one he just threw. Like, oh my god, he just threw that ball right in there for that touchdown to freaking Quentin Johnson is ridiculous. Like the chart again, they both teams were going for it. Like MCDC is like, oh no, I'm gonna get this first round. We're gonna run the fucking clock out, and you ain't getting the fucking ball again.
There was a tweet that was shown during the game, or that I saw on Twitter about Dan Campbell on 4th down. Let me see if I can find it. It was like every time Dan Campbell saw 4th down, it was this. Here we go. Present, share screen. No one, absolutely no one. Dan Campbell on 4th down. I'm pussy. I'm pussy. Like, we gotta do Riverboat Ron, man. He's out here just 4th and 6.
He's not Riverboat Ron. He's just like freaking. He's doing it. He's feeling the game. So this is where the analytics doesn't count. You gotta. It's like analytics. If you go for it, you win the game. Analytics doesn't show tell what play you call or the feel of the game. Like analytics, two worst teams are Pittsburgh and Jacksonville.
Because all they do is listen to that
Analytical
shit.
people are freaking having or drinking bleach because they can't figure out how they have their record.
Jacksonville doing what they do on 4th down is a war crime. An absolute war crime. Arizona Cardinals 25, Atlanta Falcons 23. Kyler Murray's first game back. And we've been me and Steven make the jokes all the time with Kyler Murray about how he's notorious for losing on Call of Duty weekend. Notoriously bad for losing on Call of Duty weekend. Let's see if he's been paying attention to watching film.
Call of Duty is out, especially a new one.
And then going into that final drive of the game, I text our group chat. I'm like, let's see if Kyler brought his aimbot to football today. And yes, he did. Yes, he did. I forgot how much I love watching Kyler Murray play football because it's hilarious. Like, Janice was watching with me, and she just goes,
"See his when he runs, like he doesn't have like his body when he runs. It just looks weird. It's not like
he runs upright,
right technique. He doesn't have like any the running technique. He just like, what the fuck is that?
He just holds the ball in his hand, and he just
how does that get like freaking like 20 yards, 10 yards all the time? Atlanta fucked up. How you beat Kyler Murray is you keep him in the pocket. That way he can't see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Arthur Smith's not fired at the end of the year. I don't know what to tell you. Arthur Smith had an interview, was being asked questions why he wasn't giving Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, or Drake London the ball, and he spent 5 minutes on this answer, and I still don't know what the fuck he said. He said he got interviewed like on Tuesday or Wednesday, and they asked him why is Bijan not getting the ball in the red zone? And he's like, oh, I blah 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 blah. He did everything except answer the fucking question. He spent 5 minutes on the answer. And guess what? They're all saying Bijan put himself in the game in the red zone. In the red zone was for a touchdown. Like, oh, Arthur Smith didn't know he was in there.
He would have been throwing a fit once he saw. Janice is watching this game, and Janice saw him running or getting there. She goes, "Oh, that guy's a running back, right?" I'm like, "No." And she was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, that guy's not a running back." She goes, "What is he?" I was like, "He's the quarterback." And she was like, "No, he's not." I was like, he is the quarterback. And I was sitting there showing her, and she goes, why is he so small? I was like, because he's 5'8".
He's 5'8".
He's 5'8". She goes, no, he's not. I was like,
Yes.
I'm taller than him. I am taller than Kyler Murray.
Now, Arizona's in this situation. He's guaranteed like 160 million. So this team needs a lot. Receivers one of them.
This was going to be my next point.
I'm like, how did they get rid of that Kyler Murray contract if they're gonna if you're gonna draft Caleb Williams or one of these quarterbacks with Arizona who they're already paying, who's gonna take the Kyler Murray contract? What if they draft Marvin Harrison Jr.?
And they keep Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray is good at football.
He's owed 160 million. There's no way out of that.
He's good at football, and you're not going to find anybody to eat that.
They're paying that. If he gets traded to another team, they will be paying him to play for that other team.
And they'll be dead cap like 100 and something million.
They can't find nobody. So we can talk about they might draft a quarterback, but I don't know, because wouldn't this be like a perfect game to freaking tank? I think they knew they're watching the show, and I know that they are. I think Goodell
tried.
They knew you were under investigation. You just said you better start Kyler Murray this week. Call of Duty's coming out this week. You know any questions?
So I said to Denise, I was like, he runs funny, right? She goes, yeah. I was like, I've seen many a meme that they say Kyler Murray runs like a little kid who stole a piece of candy that we weren't supposed to be eating. And she started imagining Camila running away, grabbing like an Oreo, and she could not stop laughing. Because he's good at football, man. Kyler, say what you want about Kyler. I don't think Kyler sucks. I'm a big fan of Kyler Murray. It's just he is at such a disadvantage because of his height.
What he struggles at when teams don't let him break out of the pocket, that's when he struggles. When he starts turning the ball over, because he can't see when you have him stuck in the pocket, and like he can't see over the lineman, and that's how he ends up throwing.
Because he's got such a good feel for the game. And he is very talented. It's just he's 3 inches too short.
Yeah, his receivers suck right now too. So like if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there, probably gonna have to take him.
Yeah, like you really have to explore that where it's like, hey, we might as well, like Kyler's really not that bad. You want to just like go get some linemen and then like go get a Marv?
The Falcons, Heineke pulled his hamstring.
Yeah, he was out.
The Ritter had to come back in.
Who made a couple good plays?
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, are they tanking? When they're tanking, like when Ritter scored that touchdown, it's like they didn't know zone read was available with this guy. It's like the tank is back on.
And then Kyler was like, "Hold on, y'all been talking shit on my name. There's a reason I'm in FaZe Clan. We're winning this game.
Well, he's still got to prove it. He did it against Atlanta, so he's got to.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
If he can come and he pull off the little upsets, if they can pull off an upset against Seattle and San Fran, we'll see.
I think they could beat Seattle. That team play is I think they're of that ilk of playing up to the competition. So let's see. Dallas Cowboys 49, New York Giants 17. Ass whooping of the week. I was really hoping the Cowboys would score again. Just for shits and gigs.
The Cowboys
50 burger.
89 points on the New York Giants this season to 17. The 17 came in this game in garbage time.
Now, and Brian Daboll, don't you yell at that young man.
Yeah.
Don't you yell at Danny DeVito. He didn't do shit to you.
Yeah, don't be yelling at Tommy DeVito from Goodfellas, Joe Pesci's character.
Like, what are we doing?
He already got whacked in that film.
Like, I was a fan of Daboll yelling at his quarterbacks when it was Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. I'm not a fan of him yelling at his quarterbacks when it's Tommy DeVito.
Oh
That
yeah, I'm like,
makes you look like a fucking psychopath.
and it's like when you called that play, I'm like, don't get mad, freaking. I remember I sent a text and said,
Yeah.
I'm like, fire Dayball, don't be freaking cussing out that kid for freaking you called.
Like, what are we doing? Like, you guys already knew you stood no chance.
Even the
Right?
guy dad on fourth down when they called a fourth down play, they
Like, what
called
the fuck was that?
like a zone reader inside zone. I don't know if it was eligible to keep it or not, but that was just and the guy's like, why are we calling that a fourth down?
Like, I get the play calling is limited because of DeVito. I get there's like a lot you can and can't do because of him. What's the worst that can happen? You lose? Like, you're losing now. So what's the difference? Uncork the ball. Let him throw the fucking football.
Right now, have the I think second pick of the draft.
Like, let him try.
You're in the quarterback space or wide receiver space. Now, on the Dallas, this is what I think they need to get back to this running the football wise. Tony Pollard can't carry he needs split carries. So
We
you're
saw
gonna have
that today.
that's when he's more effective. You're gonna have to give Rico Dowdle more of a carry share. That's when Tony Pollard can rock. Tony Pollard was a wide receiver in college. He converted to running back. He was never the guy. He always split carries. And then when he came in and Zeke took him under his wing and he split carries with Zeke. This is the year he's the guy. And, he had like the career high average or a running back is like 5.5 yards a carry. That's not happening this year because he's not he's supposed to be the guy now.
The bell cow.
He's the bell cow now. He's not getting it done. It's like, oh, the offensive line, Zeke was the problem. Zeke's holding Tony Pollard back. No. Zeke would hammer him, and then Tony Pollard would come in there and boom. Lightning, 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 lightning. That's how you got to get them involved. I think get more. You don't have to start Dowdle. I'm not saying start Dowdle, but Tony Pollard last year against the Packers.
Carry the show for a second. I got to get a battery.
Yeah, last year against the Packers, before the Packers game, he never carried the ball like more than 18 times in a game at any level, college or freaking NFL. So in that Packers game last year, he got tired. He had like over 20 something carries. And he started getting tired, and then they had to put the other running back, Malik Davis, in there, and then that's how they ended up losing the game because they couldn't run the clock out because Tony Pollard got tired. That was the game Zeke missed because of the injury last year. And then the other game, Zeke missed the injury, and it ended up being a blowout. Tony Pollard's like, "Oh, get this other guy in here. I'm getting tired." He's not used to having 20 carries. He never had that before, so he needs get him 20 touches. Use him as a wide receiver. If you put him on a wheel route, it's last year when he had a wheel route, it was gone. You got to use him in the passing game too. And another thing I like from the Dallas offense today is the targets, who they were targeting. CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks. I've been screaming for weeks. Why did we trade for Brandon Cooks if we're not going to fucking use him? This is how you use Brandon Cooks. Now he's going to have more confidence going into the next couple of games. Like, okay, but they still need to, when they come out in these sets with 3 wide receivers on one side and 1 wide receiver on the other, one of those wide receivers that's by himself needs to either be Brandon Cooks or CeeDee Lamb. The CeeDee Lamb is playing phenomenal right now. And Brandon Cooks is the other guy. He's fast, what he does best. If I want people one-on-one, if I'm going to beat somebody one-on-one, I want either CeeDee Lamb or freaking Brandon Cooks. Take Gallup out the game. Gallup hasn't had that much shit. He had a touchdown today, but he's not getting that much plays. Putting Tolbert in there. The guys are Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, and Jake Ferguson. You got to get them the ball.
It looks like we have a guest that popped in.
Oh,
it's just hanging out, sitting there. I didn't realize it. He might have popped in when I went to go get the battery. Might have been in here a whole time. I didn't hear a bloop. So let's bring him in. Big Mike himself. Welcome to the Barreto Boy Sundays. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't say.
Yes.
I can't say. because it might get the show taken down. But yes, that is the Dallas Cowboys. That is the New York Giants. Do you have anything to say about your boy Danny DeVito, Mike?
Oh, he fucking sucks.
I wouldn't say
Not
suck as an afterthought. Is like he's being asked to do much, do shit, and then like Dayball shouldn't be cussing his ass out on the fucking sideline for no reason.
He absolutely should not. The Giants stink. The Titans stink. I need the Jets to win one game. They can't do it.
Don't worry, me too, Mike.
Football just stinks. The Ravens lost. The only shining moment of today was that the Bengals lost and the Jaguars got their doors blown off. The only good thing that happened today.
No, there was another good thing where you acknowledged that the Titans were the third best team in the division.
Well, they're the fourth, but no.
They're not the fourth. The Colts stink. The Colts stink.
The Colts
I
beat.
just want you to know. The Colts stink. They shouldn't have won that game. The Colts stink.
The Colts beat you guys too.
Stink. The Colts absolutely stink.
No, they won though.
That's Steven, the Colts are his hate team. The way the Patriots are my hate team, the Colts are his hate team. That's how it goes for Mike. That's his hate team. Seattle Seahawks 29, Washington Commanders 26. Sam Howell had a fucking game. And then Geno Smith did that thing where he didn't do shit all game until the second half.
Sam Howell is like I said last week, he's the new school Jameis Winston. He has these highs, and then he'll do something completely like Jameis will throw a terrible interception. He didn't have the interception this game. But the Seattle, what happened at the end of the game is what they need to do. They run the offense through DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Kenneth Walker. Those three just design. And don't be sending DK deep just when he slants. He's 6'4", like 250, and he can run like a 4.3. Give him the ball, let him freaking TO motherfuckers.
DK also almost lost in this game with him on that last catch, trying to just drag everybody to the end zone, not being aware of the clock.
I think he was just trying to get that thing in the middle.
I was just like, man, what is he doing? Get down. Get down.
Still plenty of time because when there was 5 seconds went off, Geno Smith was making sure everybody was set, took like 3 extra seconds, and then spiked the ball. They could have spiked the ball earlier, but Geno wasn't trying to get a penalty.
This was Brian Robinson had a touchdown this game, receiving 6 for 119, where it was just he just ran right up the sideline, got the ball on a great play by Sam Howell rolling out.
Twice. The same play twice.
And it was just like, gone to the races. See you later. That shit was awesome. But all for naught, Anthony's second place Washington Commanders fall to the Seattle Seahawks.
Stink. Awesome.
And
how many games have y'all done?
We've done all of them.
Great, because my Wi-Fi is trash tonight.
You seem fine to me.
Let's say
so, what we were going to do is we were going to do some mid-season awards while we ran through this this slate of games. See where we're at, because Steven's not really on.
Not sure how my Wi-Fi is.
It seems fine right now.
Seems fine right now. Maybe when you start talking, it'll be otherwise.
Yeah. I would say y'all are choppy as hell for me.
But since Steven's not on the regular show with us, we're going to do some mid-season awards, go through and see how all that's going, see what we got. So, Steven, why don't you start us off?
All right. Rookie of the year offensively right now, it's runaway right now, CJ Stroud. That's the favorite right now.
Mike, there's no other way to go.
I was about to say, I didn't know where he was going with that. He was setting up like a long talk. Like, there's no long talk. It's CJ Stroud. It's CJ Stroud. It's CJ Stroud. That's it.
There's no debate. It's CJ Stroud for offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
And put him at an MVP candidate too.
Defensive rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year locked, and I don't see any other way. You can't give it to nobody else. It's quarterback. He only got freaking 2 turnovers on the season.
Who do you got for defensive rookie of the year?
Defensive rookie of the year, I'd have to give it to Devin Witherspoon because he's making Seattle's defense. It's hard to pass on them. He's making them you can run on Seattle's defense, but being able to pass on them is a struggle. Like Sam Howell had 2 long runs from Brian Robinson that really made his yards look like the way they are.
I think we said this last week. I think Devin Witherspoon's making Jamal Adams expendable, and it's not even because I don't like Jamal Adams. It's because Jamal Adams, one, his availability is poo-poo, but he does exactly what Jamal Adams does, except he also knows how to cover.
Yeah, he's covering, locking guys down, and then he's smacking people. Oh my God. Ever since he started playing, I'm like, oh, Seattle.
That Jamal Adams contract's bad, so if they can move on from that, and you get that player production out of Witherspoon, then it's like, oh, shit, okay.
I'm not going to argue with Witherspoon because he's playing really good, but am I crazy for saying it's Jalen Carter?
No.
Because that's kind of who I feel like it is. Like, Witherspoon's balling out. I'm not gonna hold you.
That's why I think it's impressive because he's doing it as a DB and playing out of position, mind you, to do so.
Yeah. So,
but Jalen Carter is also balling, so it's either or for those guys.
He's like wrecking teams. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but he's like wrecking teams.
My only takeaway from Jalen Carter is Witherspoon is out there the whole time, and Jalen Carter's in and out pass
rotating.
I thought you was going to say because he has more talent around him, but
you can make that argument, but when
you have Fletcher Cox, him, and Jordan Davis all rotating.
But he looks like he might be the best player on the team. He might be the best one. Whenever he's on the field, good things happen for them.
I think he is. Remember, he didn't fall in the draft because he's bad at football.
No.
He fell in the draft because of the other shit. That boy was the best player in the draft. It's just he plays in a position that you can't really take at the top one.
Unless you know. Well, yeah.
Unless you have everything else figured out, you can't take a defensive tackle in the first pick.
But no, because if by some wits or ways Cincinnati had traded for that, but he would have been a perfect fit for Cincinnati.
Yes, but Cincinnati's a team that's got it figured out.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're trying to build your team and you got nothing, you can't take the defensive tackle.
I mean, you can. Browns don't look so dumb right now for having Myles Garrett on their team, do they?
Yeah, but he's not a defensive tackle.
Yeah, he's defensive end.
He's one of the 4 most important positions in football.
It's quarterback, wide receiver, corner, left tackle, edge rusher. That's what the money is going to. That's the most valuable.
It's everything you said and Jalen Carter. That's what it is.
Yeah, no.
Because that boy is saying, fuck that. I'm getting to the quarterback because I said so. That's what's happening right now.
No, yeah, that's why I'm just we're not going to argue with you. We're just going to talk how good these guys are.
That's all I said. The only reason I said Pete Witherspoon's on the field the whole time. That's the only.
Yeah, DBs are the only position in football that don't swap out.
Carter's
DBs and linebackers. Wide receivers take rests and swap out,
and the quarterback.
But these guys are moving much more than the quarterback's moving.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that they're
point was brought up to me.
The covering gets tired, he comes out, then a new wide receiver comes in there, but he ain't coming out. He's got to stay out there.
Stay right there. That was brought up to me. And I was like, I've never thought of that. I never even really thought about it. And then when it goes back to your toughest positions to play, it's still corner.
They don't take corner out. It's offensive league. All the rules favor wide receivers, and then the wide receiver comes out the game and a new one comes in. They're not going to take the corner can't go like this and come out. They're going to put a bum out there. They're going to attack the freaking guy behind her to give him a breather.
Who do you got for coach of the year?
Oh, D'Amico.
Yep.
I can give it to D'Amico. Especially after days.
D'Amico's got the lead, but let me tell you, Antonio Pierce is in the game.
No, he's not. No,
yes, he is.
No, he's not.
If he drags the corpse of this team to the playoffs, he's in the conversation.
The problem is they don't score. Like they scored on the Giants because the Giants couldn't do nothing, and the Jets gave the game away. So it's just like you can't trust the quarterback.
But it's only 2 games.
Only 2 games.
What D'Amico was done with the Texans team.
I think D'Amico's locked it up regardless.
And by the way, let's not hate on my man.
Oh, Dan Campbell.
Coach. No.
Dan Campbell too.
No. Mike Tomlin. Put some respect on that man's name.
No, he gets respect, but this is what Mike Tomlin does. So do we just give him the coach of the year because he does what he does?
They are 6-3.
Fire Matt Canada, maybe your offense will freaking move.
Yeah, if you fire Matt Canada, give Mike Tomlin the award.
If he fires Matt Canada right now, he's number 1 front runner for coach of the year. That would be the best move any coach.
That would lock him in for number 1. But right now, for me, it's D'Amico Ryans and Dan Campbell. 1 and 2.
D'Amico Ryans. Trying to think of an AFC coach.
D'Amico Ryans.
Oh, NFC coach.
MCDC.
MCDC. Yeah, but we expected that. It's like coach of the year usually gives like a coach that like takes a team and turns it around. Like D'Amico Ryans. That's why I do D'Amico Ryans. There's people that were expecting the Lions to do it. I just didn't trust them. But it was expected.
Well, then you can't do any NFC coach. Then you can't do any NFC coach.
Everything
because they're all doing NFC, exactly what they expected.
Exactly what we thought they was going to do. The NFC is chalk right now. The AFC,
Stefanski.
Yeah, I was thinking Stefanski or O'Connell
because they go 15-1. They go 15-1 again. I mean, then it's kind of hard not to give it to them if they go 15-1 again.
Bad decision against Seattle. That Mike Zimmer was going to stab a fucking doll over. If Mike Zimmer was still his head coach, he would have punched him in the face.
If the Vikings win or make the playoffs, I think you have to consider their head coach too. Yeah. You have to consider O'Connell.
But D'Amico should front run right now.
D'Amico's the front runner.
I think D'Amico's very far away. What are they? They're 5-4. If they get 9 games, then it's his. They're going to get 9.
The thing about the Bengals, I forgot to bring this up when we were on them. Like that was a bad loss for the Bengals because all tiebreaker situations they screwed themselves because they're now 1-4 against the AFC as a conference. All their wins are against the NFC West. So they have no tiebreaker wins, and then they play the Ravens on Thursday.
Which that's gonna be a game. That's gonna be a game.
I need the Ravens to win that game for other wheel spins that are on the line. I need the Ravens.
Listen, like that whole division is all a 1-game separation.
Like before the games played coming into the day, the whole AFC North was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Playing today. The
MVP.
Ooh. See, this is what
it's Lamar Jackson.
It was Lamar Jackson for me.
Yeah, I will say Lamar.
I don't care that they lost today. Lamar's not the reason they lost that game.
No, but it's like the under 200 yards and the 2 interceptions. The only other person I could think of would be C.J. Stroud.
Lamar or C.J. Stroud?
C.J. Stroud has to be in that conversation now.
He has to be in that conversation, but let's not go crazy. They're 5-4.
I mean, if you look at their numbers,
5-4. He's got numbers. The MVP is also a number. And right now they're in the playoffs.
If they make the playoffs,
listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. Listen.
He's got 2 interceptions.
If it's not Lamar,
The best
there's
interception ratio.
There's this thing called voters fatigue. I know there's voters fatigue, but there's a guy in Kansas City named Patrick Mahomes.
He's not going to win it. He's not going to win it. He's having He's not having a great year
because of voter fatigue.
No, Pat Mahomes can win it if. No, I don't want to say voter fatigue. That shit's NBA. That shit don't happen in the NFL. Mahomes, if they still,
it does. Well, yes, it does.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers has 4 of them.
Aaron Rodgers has 4 MVPs. Either voter fatigue, like one of those MVPs should have won.
Voter fatigue is a LeBron James stat.
That's I've never seen that in NFL. Like Pat Mahomes, if the Chiefs finish with still like 2-3 losses, yeah, because he's carrying that team with their shitty ass wide receivers.
But what CJ Stroud is doing right now, with the numbers that he has, with his efficiency is perfect.
14-2. He's got the best touchdown interception ratio of any quarterback in the NFL.
And then they make the playoffs. It's like, okay, he's the reason. He's the reason. It doesn't get much more MVP than him being the reason. Right?
What Mahomes has like 7 picks.
Isn't that also what you want, Mike? Story. Because you're like, CJ Stroud is the best quarterback of that draft. He shot up from just being the best quarterback of that draft to being one of the top 10 quarterbacks in football.
Player, right? And it's not like him and Mahomes, they got basically the same set of receivers. I would argue Houston's receivers are more talented.
They're also bigger.
I would say I don't know about that.
But again, I think Houston's receivers are all just feeding off of the ability of Stroud.
Off that team and put another and let whoever was on there last year play. You think they're winning
Mills,
5 games?
Tyrod Taylor. Because it's that same group.
No. But I think if you put Patrick Mahomes on that Texans team, they're probably 6-2.
I mean, you could make that argument. Pat Mahomes is the greatest of all time.
Plus his last 2 weeks. What he did his last 2 weeks, he won the game for him in the last drive. The last 2 weeks, one against the Bengals. Who did they play last week?
Who did Houston play last week? The Bucs.
Atlanta?
The Bucs.
The Bucs.
And
good defense.
Beat the Bengals. He's beating Burrow.
Listen, you're not going to get me to badmouth CJ Stroud. As Dylan's already told you. That is my guy. I have attached my horse to him. He's the best quarterback in that draft. He should have been number 1. All his success is my success.
If Tyreek Hill gets 2,000 yards,
yeah, you have to
MVP conversation.
You have to put him there.
The last non-quarterback to win an MVP
was it Adrian Peterson,
and he took him 2,000 yards to do it. And no wide receiver has ever done that. So
he's got a shot.
At least.
Mike, now that I have you here, I would like to talk to you about Jameis Winston and how you guys were trying to force me to acknowledge him when he was exactly who I thought he was.
If he was your quarterback tonight, y'all would have won.
Or he would have given the ball away just like Zach did.
He would have scored a touchdown and y'all would have won.
Or he would have thrown a pick 6. Again, the game today wasn't on Zach. No, don't let Roz fool you. Don't let and you watch the game too. The game wasn't on Zach.
Well,
the game was on 8 penalties for 83 yards. I know, but you're rolling your eyes like it was the quarterback's fault.
Like
quarterback was not to blame tonight.
As soon as they cross the 50-yard line, they have like a 30-yard play. Next play penalty. Next play somebody fumbles.
Mike watched. Mike is usually on my side.
I was in the chat with Dylan.
Yeah, Mike is usually on my side when it comes to the Jets. Exactly. Roz is the lunatic.
Every penalty was legit. It was no it was a bad call. Every penalty deserved to be thrown.
Stupid. Just stupid.
There's no argument for any of those freaking penalties.
Roz is the lunatic who's still trying to say this loss was on Zach Wilson when it was everything else up to this point. Like, Zach throwing the interception didn't help, but, 8 for 83.
We've started. We can punch the clock, Dylan. He's on the fire solid. So it only took 9 weeks.
It's already been on. He's been on the fire solid since week 2 of last year.
Yeah, but I got him to commit to this week. Finally.
And his commitment was, if he keeps playing Zach, I want Saleh fired. But he won't say I want Saleh fired now because all he cares about is coaching record. But it's like, he took over a bad team and he got better every year. And then we did the thing where we went and got the quarterback that was supposed to be the savior, and he died.
Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Is it? Yeah. Yes, Zach Wilson's there, but he's also not the reason there. I've been telling Dylan from the beginning, even before they drafted him, stay away from this guy. He sucks. Dylan thought he was good. I said, don't fall. I said, who has a bad pro day? Everybody fell in love with that motherfucker on his fucking pro day. I'm like, he is terrible. He played for fucking BYU. I know what I'm watching. I watch a lot of college football. He's terrible. Last year, he deserved all the blame. You put all that shit on his ass. This year, I wouldn't blame him that much. But the offense coordinator, Hackett, like, what are we doing
He's
here?
an Aaron Rodgers guy. He's just an Aaron Rodgers guy. This goes back to me.
And I'm not. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is me taking my victory lap, where I was like, all of this for Rodgers, for what? For what? The heartache? The same bullshit that I deal with year in, year out now, except I have Rodgers and he's not playing. I have Nathaniel Hackett, who's an idiot. I have Alan Lazard, who sucks. I have Randall Cobb, who sucks. I have all these people who are just net negatives when I could have had just anybody else. Anybody else, right? And yeah, sure, Aaron Rodgers is going to come back next year and he's going to play and maybe we'll fucking be the contender next year. But then it's like,
he's going to be back in 3 weeks.
He's not playing this year. He's not playing this year. Don't let him fool you. Aaron Rodgers does not know how to beat science.
Aaron Rodgers would if Aaron Rodgers would come back this year if he claims he's going to do. If the Jets were in the playoff race right now, they're 4-5 in this tough AFC. They still got to play. They for some reason they can't beat the Patriots, so they got to play the Patriots again. They still have to play Miami twice. And the Bills again. They own Josh.
The Bills next week.
Yeah, they play the Bills again. They still got to play. Who else? They get what?
Texans.
They still got to, they got to play
Commanders. The Bengals or no, the Browns.
So if they end up 5 and freaking 9, Rodgers is not coming back in December.
Even if we were in the playoff race, if you put Aaron Rodgers on the field, fire everyone. Fire everyone. All tendons heal the same, right?
All the games are close.
Not Aaron Rodgers.
Like the Jets games have been close, but like you have Breece Hall, get him the ball more. He's literally
it's not matter getting him the ball more. Stop fucking asking Madden what your play calls are.
3 touchdowns in the last 5 games. They've all been Breece Hall. Their last 3 touchdowns were all Breece Hall touchdowns. 3 touchdowns in the last 5 games.
The problem is they're getting to the ball in the worst ways. Like the play calling so like predictable, where it's like, oh, when Breece is out there, we know they're going to run.
That's a play calling issue and a personnel coach issue. Like Dalvin Cook had his best game today. He only had 4 carries. He looked good. I'm like, okay.
When Dalvin comes in the game, he runs the ball so much easier because they're like, oh, we don't know what's going to happen because he doesn't come on the field enough, right? But whenever they trot him out on second down, they just run halfback dive. Like it's first. Don't even get me started on this fucking dork.
I wouldn't even blame Zach Wilson that much. Yes, he sucks. Yes, he's terrible. Yes, but he's not the reason.
40% of the blame. I give him 40% of the blame. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, 70, 60, 40 when it comes to the things that like he can control. But when you're on your 9th offensive line combo, all these offensive penalties are happening. Lazard leads the NFL in drops. Randall Cobb is just the worst wide receiver in football. Like you have a fumble here, a fumble here. Your offensive line allows you to get hit. You get sacked by some fucking loser on the Raiders. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you can't blame Zach for that.
And you know what Zach looks like? Russell Wilson last year. Because this Jet offense looks like
Russ last year was missing wide open guys, though. The problem is Zach's not like missing guys the way Russ was, where Russ had his wide receivers throwing their helmets down in the end zone. The problem is Zach's, when he has the time, like, something stupid happens. That's just, you can't, nothing you can do. When you score 2 touchdowns on a drive and you end up with 3 points, like, there's nothing you can do.
I told Dylan last week, I said their defense, the defense coaches in Saleh, got the defense coordinator in Saleh, they got to get there and say, hey, we got to score. We got to force a turnover and score. They got to be a pick six, scoop and score. They got to score. They want to win games. Their offense ain't getting it done. Their defense has to score a touchdown if they want to win games.
This is exactly the scenario I thought the Jets were going to be in when Rodgers went out. Where it's like, we're not going to be bad enough to get a top pick, but our defense is so good, we're going to be in every game. Every game. We have the receipts to prove it. I said this. Where
one quarterback that looked good against the defense.
Yeah, it was Dak. Dak was the only quarterback that looked good against us. Like, even tonight, Aiden O'Connell looked terrible tonight. Like, I don't know what else you're supposed to do.
In AOC, we trust. The AOC era.
If we're gonna trust in AOC, you got a lot of fucking problems. That's the guy we're trusting, and he is dog shit.
Looks like fucking Officer Farva from Super Troopers.
He's not good. He's not good. So it's like, it's just so infuriating that this offense for the whole third quarter couldn't get past our own 15-yard line. Absolutely ridiculous.
The guy next year. It depends on the Raiders finish. See
even if they finish in the playoffs and they're doing it off the back of fucking Josh Jacobs, Aiden O'Connell's not coming back.
No.
Because even still, like, Josh Jacobs, Aiden O'Connell didn't do shit. Josh Jacobs did it all to make all that happen.
Josh McDaniels is gone, so Aiden O'Connell is better than Jimmy G. I say that right.
Everybody's better than Jimmy G.
Jimmy G was. That's why
I would like to collect my flowers. Can I get a speaky for being just so right about Jimmy Garoppolo? Is that going to be
injury on that man?
No, I know that he was going to lose his job.
Well, as soon as Antonio Pierce got the job, Jimmy G get
the fuck out of here, you fucking loser.
Because Jimmy G's going to be upset next time if he has to play next time. Somebody's got his interception lead, so he's going to have to take that back.
Who has it now?
Fuck. I knew it too.
Is it McCorkle?
Mac Jones.
Is it McCorkle?
Mac Jones has the interception lead.
McCorkle!
Got that dog in him, Dylan.
He's got that dog in him. He's got a little puppy dog. He's sitting on the bench next week. He's done. His career in New England's over. How does that make you feel, Mike? That he's got that dog in him. That he's got that dog in him.
He's got that dog. Listen, that was top flight journalism that I gave to you.
That dog.
Don't get mad at me because he's.
You know what dog he's got? Old Yeller. Old Yeller is the dog he got. Take him behind the shed and put him out of his misery.
I'm just reporting the facts. I'm just here reporting.
We love it.
He's got that dog. He's got that dog in him.
Yeah, he got Old Yeller behind the shed.
It's not equal in wins.
Done. Or good quarterback play. It's coming from me, bad quarterback connoisseur.
I'm old and I have to go to sleep. So
I also do. We're about to be wrapping up.
Lamar's MVP. Myles Garrett is Defensive Player of the Year, and the Ravens are going to have the best record.
We disagree with you on Defensive Player of the Year, by the way. We as a collective, the Barreto boys, the hive mind.
I had to give him. This is Max Crosby defense
Yeah,
player.
it's Mad Max.
Now he's a front runner because the dude.
Mike, you need to take a look at the numbers that Max Crosby's producing.
I don't care about the numbers.
No,
Dylan.
do you want to know what numbers we're talking about?
Affects the game.
No, we're not talking about percentage. We're not talking about percentage and stuff. We're talking about total tackles, total TFLs, total sacks, and what Max Crosby does.
Max Crosby has like 20 more tackles than the next other guy too. He's on the field all the time. He doesn't come out.
You know, he does, and we're not talking about pressure percentage and all that shit. We're not going to do the dork thing.
He got the most pressures. He got tackles, so like 17 tackles for loss, which is the most, and plus just actual tackles.
Yeah, he's got like 20 something more tackles than Myles Garrett does, on top of like the same amount of sacks. So I implore you to. I know we don't want to give Anthony anything.
The rest of it's Max Crosby and the rest of the freaking loaf of bread. The rest of the defense is.
I know we don't want to give Anthony anything, but like when you take a look at what Max Crosby's doing, you got to be like, okay, hold on, hold on,
flowers,
hold on here, because I was like you, where I was like, oh, let me look at the Myles Garrett stuff. You're only doing that because of Anthony. You're only doing that because of Anthony. You don't want him to have nothing.
It's Myles Garrett, and that's it.
It's the pride. We don't want Anthony to have anything.
Right down the middle. I don't think they're getting 10 wins. They can't lose any more games. They got 3 losses left. If they lose 3 losses, they ain't gonna be no 10-win season.
Because Anthony said the Raiders were gonna have 10 wins.
Who's not getting 10?
Raiders.
They're not getting 10.
They got 3 losses left. They get 3 losses. They lose 3 games. That shit is guaranteed done.
They're going to lose 3 in a row. The Dolphins, Chiefs, and Vikings. So that's it there. They may lose 5 in a row.
Twice, right?
Yeah. They may lose 4 or 5 or 5 straight, depending on how this Chargers game goes. So we'll do that, because I don't know if Josh Jacobs is going to be able to carry them through the tough waters that are the greatest show on surf, coming off of a loss against the Chiefs. And what does Anthony like to say? An angry Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
An angry Tyreek Hill coming back from fucking Germany.
No, it doesn't work like that. Not
Hey.
super angry.
Hey. That's the one you'll find, an angry Tua Tagovailoa. That doesn't have the same ring to it. All right, let's wrap it up. It's been a cool hour and a half. Appreciate you all for coming in. Appreciate Mike for stopping by. I'm Dylan Barreto. This is Big Brother Steven Barreto, Sand Viper. Big Mike is here. We are the best part of your week. We're the best start of your week. We will be back next week to cover the slate. See you guys later.
You need to